Our topic today is the NEWARK Resilient Solar Initiative. That initiative provides high quality career skills training, technical education, and paid work-based learning opportunities for high school students here in Newark Public Schools. The students will build 8 community solar chargers that will be housed at locations such as community gardens and will be available for community use during emergencies. Our presenter today is Audris B. Torres. Audris is the Resiliency Coordinator for the Resilient Solar Initiative that's sponsored by Solar One. She's also a digital strategist, a content creator, and a women's wellness and leadership organizer, working with several community groups, including the Newark Green Team and Newark Pride Week. Audris will say a little more about herself and also share information about the Newark Resilient Solar Initiative. Thanks, Audris, for being with us today, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Carla, for that warm introduction. And honestly, that pretty much sums up my entire presentation. So we're good to wrap if you want to. But Ms. Carla serves as one of my advisory board members. Has been with us for this entirety of the initiative so far. So it's definitely great to be here. And Ms. Carla, while you're pulling up the slides, I'll give another introduction. And also just want to extend a heartfelt thank you for you all for having me today. And again, extended thanks to Ms. Carla for the kind invitation. Being a part of United Parks is one. Community feels like being among family and neighbors. And I'm truly excited to share with you my organization, Solar Education Program. This initiative is the collaborative effort in partnership with Newark Public Schools and the local community. It's a project that's close to my heart. So as we pull up the slides, we'll begin to dive in and explore how we're bringing solar education to our beloved Newark. Also, before we get started, I do have a tendency to speak really fast, so please don't be shy to let me know to slow down or speed up. As I know, it is a Saturday morning and you all would like to get this information and get going with your day. So just feel free to let me know in the chat and I'm happy to pick it up or slow it down. So, Ms. Carla. So we'll start with the next slide. So some of our students in our build out class. So a little bit more about me. I am a South Jersey native with roots in North Philadelphia, and what I've called the West Ward and I call the West Ward and Ivy Hill neighborhoods home since 2016. I hold a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration with a unique focus on Earth Science from Kean University. My academic journey has been complemented with a genuine passion for sustainable practices. In 2019, I had the privilege of working with the City of Newark Office of Sustainability as an AmeriCorps Vista, where I contributed to funding community-led projects, making our city more beautiful and environmentally friendly. Additionally, as Ms. Carla had mentioned earlier, I have been a freelance digital marketing operations consultant since 2013, where I help various organizations and individuals reach their goals. I've also had the honor of taking on leadership roles with several organizations, including the Ivy Hill Neighborhood Association, the Newark Global Shapers, the Newark Green Team, and are a leadership Newark graduate as of this upcoming Wednesday. So through those experiences, I've been able to make a meaningful impact on my community. And next slide. So let's take a closer look at Solar One. Solar One is a dynamic force for sustainability and education. Founded in 2004, Solar One is a New York-based 501c3 not-for-profit organization with a compelling mission. The mission is all about designing and delivering innovative education, training, and technical assistance that fosters sustainability, resiliency, particularly in diverse urban environments. Solar One has been a catalyst for change since its inception in 2017. We launched our environmental STEM education program right here in Newark. This program is the cornerstone of our community outreach efforts, engaging young minds in fostering environmental stewardship. Some of our key programs include our flagship program called Green Design Lab, which is a K-12 education and professional development, which provides students and professionals with the tools and knowledge to create sustainable and resilient solutions through solar charging module build-outs. Our Green Workforce Initiative offers hands-on training and certification in green jobs. Right now, it is solely operating in the city of in New York City. It also equips individuals with the skills they need. We're fostering a green workforce ready for the challenges of the future. At this Stuyvesant Cove, we've transformed a part of our East River into a native plant park. It's not just a beautiful green space, but it's also a testament to our commitment to restoring the environment. In our Here Comes Solar program, we're making solar energy accessible to all New Yorkers by breaking down barriers. We're bringing the power of the sun to more homes and businesses. And then lastly, with our Clean Energy Communities program, we're driving decarbonization in New York City through grants and technical support. This initiative is helping us build a greener and cleaner urban environment for all. Slide 3, or next slide, sorry. So I'm excited to introduce an initiative that's making a significant impact in our community directly. It's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration funded Resilient Solar Initiative. This 2-year initiative, in partnership with the Office of Sustainability, strengthens our sustainability efforts, and it's all about environmental literacy, innovation, resilience, and community empowerment. At this point, does anybody have any questions as far as Solar One, any programs, or anything I've discussed thus far?
I just had on that first slide, it said something about you were founded in 2024. That didn't seem right.
Yes, that is not correct. That was an edit on my end. So thank you for thank you for catching that. So going into our key features for our Resilient Solar Initiative. Our program centers around the construction and deployment of resilient solar systems, incorporating energy storage to ensure a consistent power supply, even during outages. These systems provide clean renewable energy for both educational purposes and our community members, ensuring access to clean energy when it's needed. We offer high quality green career skills training, empowering individuals for sustainable employment and a greener future. And our program fosters civic engagement while also enhancing climate literacy and equips the community with the knowledge needed to make informed, sustainable choices. We align with the need for emergency preparedness, ensuring our community is better prepared to handle unforeseen challenges with our solar chargers. Next slide. Thank you. So empowering our youth is the heart of Solar One's mission. Operating in 3 Newark high schools, Shabazz, Barringer, and Technology currently, this program is all about providing education opportunities and hands-on experience for the next generation of sustainability leaders. As part of this initiative, we offer a comprehensive youth internship program each summer through the SYEP program, the Summer Youth Employment Program. We provide 25 young individuals with a paid internship opportunity, but we also offer 6 paid internships during the school year. These youth interns play a vital role in our community. They actively engage in outreach and education at community-based events. By sharing their knowledge and passion, they're making an impact on environmental awareness and action. So our interns don't just talk the talk, we also teach them to walk the walk. They're responsible for building 8 resilient solar systems, showcasing the practical application of their learning. These systems represent both our commitment to sustainability and dedication to our youth. The bulk of our internships is highly concentrated on teaching students real life applications of using technology and solar energy, and teaching them how they can use these skills to also hopefully one day be their own entrepreneurs, or also work in the environmental and solar fields should they choose to. Next slide. The 8 solar chargers our youth are building aren't just pieces of technology, they are a lifeline and a source of knowledge for our community. These solar chargers will be strategically set up at 8 select publicly accessible locations throughout all 5 wards of Newark. Our aim is to ensure accessibility to every corner of our community. These solar chargers serve a dual purpose. During an emergency power situation, they become invaluable. They are a reliable source of energy when the grid is down, but it's not just about emergencies. The chargers are for general education, solar education as well. They provide an opportunity for our community to understand and harness the power of the sun, as well as to bridge the gap between technology and understanding. We're organizing 8 community engagement events. Here, our youth interns will actively demonstrate the chargers, showcasing their functionality and practicality. These events also go beyond the technology use. They're about building community bonds, where we also will be providing food, entertainment, and a platform for environmental literacy and resilience education. The goal is for our community members to gain crucial insight into emergency preparedness. Excuse me. It's not a journey that we take on alone. As the Office of Sustainability and Solar One, we open the doors to collaboration with our local partners through tabling opportunities. Our overarching goal is to engage up to 200 Newark residents and equipping them with knowledge, resource, and access to resilient solar power to build a more sustainable Newark. And next slide. So as we move forward with this impactful project, I wanted to share with you key elements that help guide our journey and our project timeline and the invaluable contributions of our advisory committee. So currently, the grant started in October 2022. That started with Solar One receiving the grant funding, as well as partnering with the Office of Sustainability. In March, we established our advisory committee, as well as that's when I first came on board. And we started the model design of our first solar charger, and we began planning for our first showcasing event, which happened this past August. Mark the moment we committed to empowering our community with our comprehensive education plan. So the youth-led build-out phase followed shortly after, and it's extending over 12 months, which also began in June 2023, and it will continue through June 2024. During this phase, our youth will build the remaining 7 resilient solar chargers that will be used throughout the 5 wards. In between these timelines, a subsequent phase involves organization of the seven remaining community engagement events, which will be held over 5 months, beginning in March 2024. Our first showcasing event that we held this past August was at the Greater Newark Conservancy. That charger that we showcased now lives at Hawthorne Farms. And then our solar charger deployment. The culmination of our efforts will be the deployment of the chargers at publicly accessible locations, again, starting March 2024. So our current challenge right now is identifying our remaining 7 sites. And that is another big portion, in addition to the youth building the modules that we are working through. Another big challenge that we're working through. So our advisory committee, and it's kind of a little cut off, and I apologize. In our commitment to success and community impact, we've established an advisory committee composed of local experts in sustainability, education, and emergency preparedness. This group serves as a compass guiding us through each phase of the project. They ensure that our project aligns with best practices, offers maximum benefits to the community, and remains responsive to the evolving needs of NEWARK. I deeply value the contributions and believe that their collective wisdom will help us to achieve our mission effectively. So as we progress through our project timeline, our advisory committee's guidance will be our North Star. And together we are dedicated to a brighter, more resilient future for NEWARK. Next slide. So as we begin to wrap up, just to recap the essential message, some key takeaways: our commitment to providing resilient solar systems accessible to all in our community. These systems offer more than just energy. They're a lifeline during power outage and a window of power and a window into the power of sustainability. Our youth are the heartbeat of this project. Through their active engagement and education, we're not just building solar chargers, we're building tomorrow's sustainability leaders. Community engagement and unity, fostered through vibrant events, environmental literacy and hands-on learning opportunities, as well as the mission of NOAA, of the NOAA grant, fully accomplished, aligning with its goals of environmental literacy, resiliency, and sustainability. I welcome everybody who is here today to join us at our next event, with our stakeholder informational event. It's a moment for stakeholders and partners to come together, learn more about the program, and have the opportunity to host a solar charger at their organization. We will be having projectedly 1 to 2 solar chargers live at the event, so you're able to physically see the module and be able to see the different charging ports and how it will be effective during an emergency situation, as well as for educational use. And that is on Wednesday, November 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Berkeley College. And just to wrap up, remember that thank you all for joining today, and your involvement as community members is vital. Please feel free to reach out to me. My information is there, and to follow us on social media if you have any questions, if you have any, if you would like to be involved with the program. There's definitely space for everybody. And that is all. So thank you so much. And I open the floor for questions.
Hey.
Well,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Listen, you're the guest. I can always come back later. So
I'm just wondering how the sites are chosen, because that looks like the solar thing would fit perfectly with our curriculum, especially the environmental studies 3 curriculum, where they actually work with solar panels and stuff. So I'm wondering how we could get on that. It looked like you're going to choose more sites. Hopefully you choose us.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great question. So our sites right now are being chosen through a criteria. One of them being, is the site publicly accessible during a state of emergency? For example, Dr. Kuzma, you mentioned that you're at Central High School. If Central High School serves as a emergency evacuation site, then that would be a perfect location to host the solar PV charger. Once the site is selected, we are also working with the Office of Emergency Management to get all of our site leaders CERT training certified. So CERT training allows NEWARK residents to be more aware of how to respond in emergency situations if the site already doesn't have an emergency plan set into place. So I'm happy to speak more about that offline, or if you wanted to come to the informational event to learn more, or you or somebody from your office.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they selected the other schools that they're at, but I know our school's a community hub. So we're one of the main schools where, we work with the public. So I'm sure in an emergency situation would be, open. We were, serving food during the pandemic and things like that. So I'm assuming we fit that category. But I'm real interested in that program. It looks like it'll fit in perfectly with us.
Awesome. Okay, that's perfect. And
how are the students selected? And to the other question about how are the schools selected, or how would a school know of the availability of this initiative? And it does sound very, very exciting. And is there a particular profile of students that, although many of them might not even know what it is, like myself, it's right.
So the schools are selected. They were, to my best understanding, and I can also get exact information for you. The schools were selected based off of partners that we have worked with previously, and we work with their science department to build out the program. So during the month of March, we hosted another informational where science teachers were able to learn about the programming and be able to build out and be able to sign on to the curriculum to begin the CTE training program. So it was more working with MPS and seeing if the program was a good fit. And if you know other schools that would also like to sign on, we are expanding our team in order to, build more capacity and expand this program. So that'll be super helpful as well.
And what's the typical pipeline from learning this technology to connecting to jobs? And do the youth have to have certain aptitudes more than other aptitudes to be successful in this field?
Yeah. So currently the pipeline that Solar One is building is we are expanding our workforce development program. That is set to projectly begin by September 2024 as we expand into the city of Newark. But we also work with other solar companies like Dimension Solar, as well as a few others, where they also take on paid internships during the summertime, and they're able to kind of stretch their expertise that they learn throughout the year in the field.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out that even though we're localized, let's say Newark, and there's a certain amount of jobs that they can put them into internships and things like that. This is education that expands worldwide. Meaning, if they have the certificates for different wiring, solar, OSHA, all these certificates, it opens them up to an easier entrance into a job opportunity, because obviously any training costs money. And if you're showing up at a location, a solar panel company, and you are already trained, and they're not going to have to train you in those things, I think it opens the kids up to job opportunities worldwide, since in the future we're going to be switching towards solar, wind, and all those other clean energies.
But do you find that kids with an aptitude, for example, more in math versus something else, or science, are better suited for this track? Or is it something that most kids would just automatically take to, and therefore?
From my personal experience of working with our students, everybody is coming from a varied background and aptitude. In the summertime, we did have students that, didn't necessarily have an immediate interest in science, but by the end of the program, they were able to tell you everything about the solar charger. So we are able to reach students at all levels. And I think that's the beautiful part about being in STEM, that there's something for everybody, whether if you want to get into marketing, if you want to just really focus on engineering, or if you want to focus on the technical side. This program allows you to kind of explore what that could look like for themselves.
And how long has the program been instituted in New York? And how many students there do you know are involved?
Actually, that is a very good question, and I can get that answer for you. I'm mostly privy to it being in Newark, and that was since 2017. But I can find out as far as when did we begin solar training, the solar CTE training in New York.
Are they building the solar units for emergency use in New York too, or is that just in Newark? What other locations is that taking place in?
Yes, so this program started from the Stuyvesant Cove project. So in Stuyvesant Cove, during the pandemic, Solar One actually put one of their solar modules down into the garden space, and it allowed for that entire community to come out and charge their medical devices, to charge their charge their phones, and it was a project that worked really successfully. And when NOAA came out with the funding, they thought, okay, well, why don't we expand this same project into Newark after we were hit so terribly with Maria and our other storms. And that's really where the idea came from.
I attended the the event this summer at Greater Newark Conservancy, and that's where the summer students, after having built one of the units, the one that is now at the garden, Hawthorne Farms, presented that unit, and they did a really good job of explaining how it worked and what they did to build it and how it could be used. And then in addition to that, other information was shared about emergency preparedness, which was also helpful. So I think that it's important that this program is multifaceted. So there's the training component, and there's also the component that helps the young people not only be able to uh, acquire the technical skills to build the units, but also acquire the communication skills that they need to explain that to somebody who doesn't already understand what they've done. And I certainly had no idea. And so I think they did a great job of explaining that. And then there is that community education piece about emergency preparedness, and that is going to become increasingly important for everybody. I just heard a report today that, and this is not news, but I heard a report on the news that increasingly we cannot use the past to predict current weather trends, and certainly not climate trends, I suppose. And so that's pretty alarming, because we know what's been happening lately with the severity of storms increasing and so forth. And so access to this kind of power is going to be really important in situations. Again, unfortunately, I'm in the process of trying to hold on to my old traditional landline in case of an emergency, right? But they don't keep them up anymore. So every time it rains, there's static and all of that. So I'm gonna have to get rid of it because they don't keep it up anyway. But just thinking ahead for emergencies.
Yeah.
I would have thought we were still safer with a landline, even though I gave mine up too, but it's not. Huh?
Now they're upfront about saying they don't maintain them. They didn't used to say that, but now they're trying to push me off the cliff.
I kept mine for a very, very long time, and I even had the old-fashioned plug-in phone rather than digital phone, because when the electricity went out, that one still worked. So again, for emergencies, but I had some structural damage on the outside of the house that damaged that phone line that I never got repaired because they don't maintain them. So I couldn't get anyone to come out and make that repair without it being at my cost. So, so yeah, that's very interesting. Audrey, I wanted to ask you, as I was inviting someone to today's monthly meeting, they were saying that the solar industry was about to explode technologically on some levels. And I was inviting them to say, hey, come and bring that perspective to this meeting today. So they didn't. As much as possible, I want to ask the question. So is this program preparing the students, or are they learning the new technology? Are they going to take full advantage of what then might become almost giveaway materials for the old technology because of the new technology? Like, how will the program be impacted by that? It could go either way. I know depending on how you look at whether a crisis is an opportunity or not. Well, not a
Yeah,
crisis, but a change is an opportunity or not.
Ms. Rhonda, that's actually a very great question as far as the change of technology and how solar panels are assembled. Through the years, the panels, the bases have all remained the same, but it's about the wiring and the microchips. And obviously, as technology does evolve, it's our job to make sure that our students are up to date with the most up to date technology and how to continue to make the connections. But yes, one thing for sure is that as far as the modules themselves, the technology is pretty standard. But I think that the thing about the program is that it gives insight on, okay, this is just one aspect of how tech and solar kind of exist in our day to day. And hopefully it sparks other interests to say, okay, well, what else does solar look like in our day to day?
So would the program be appealing and fit, and this is for both our Central High instructor and you, suppose a student just typically wasn't engaged and wasn't doing well, let's say in any subject or particularly in math and science. Is this kind of hands-on project something that could be transformative to some of the students, or is it really geared towards those that are already have some interest in the field, some real curiosity about it?
So that's a good question. It is a excuse me, and I work more on the public stakeholder side, but it is more a what do they call it? A auxiliary, where they choose to opt in to take the course, and it counts towards credits. So essentially, the student would have to have some sort of interest in the class. Now, whether if they decide, hey, I was interested at first, and then as they get to the class, they're like, hey, I'm no longer interested in. Then I think that's another discussion that would be held between the educators. If that answers your question.
I was just wondering whether the technology would be, for some youth, a flipping of the switch. So if somebody was not engaged, but they got a chance to do this hands-on thing, that would be transformative to their further interest in, or not. Or whether, as you were saying, it needed to be somebody that was already interested in that field.
Yeah, I know in Newark, the schools, we're focusing on different professions, topics, things like that. So at my school, we have a dental academy and we have the environmental studies academy. So right now, the 8th graders are going around and we always have an open house at our schools. So they're able to choose a school where maybe they have the interest that they want. So like one of the schools is culinary, one of the schools has law, one of the schools has travel, so each school has main focuses. And then our elementary schools stem to them. So there's certain elementary schools and middle schools who form up a ladder. So if they had some sort of interest in that, they kind of get funneled towards us for that. But I believe, again, we're looking at the hands-on, which is extremely important. I do it more like when I was back in high school. We had like college track and our track for job opportunity or technical or something like that. So this kind of links it together, because the whole solar industry, remember, there's a vast spread of different jobs.
Right.
We definitely are talking about building and focusing on the solar panels and maybe making the solar panel thing, but there's people involved in the computers that function to run the unit. There's people that are controlling anything, distribution, parts, different things like that. So there's a wide variety of things that people could fit into as they're going through this training. Just like I could better explain the dental program, because the dental program, you're talking about anywhere from office management all the way up to the dentist, right? So just because they're in the dental program, they definitely all don't want to be dentists, right?
Right.
So I think it's a very good opportunity, especially if they earn certificates. For instance, I know I've worked with Solar One since 2016, 17, 18. I don't know when they came to Newark, but I always look at it that if they're earning a certificate in OSHA, that opens them to anything that they need a certificate in OSHA for. So any construction, any thing where they're going to work on a construction site, they need OSHA certification. So as long as we're getting them these little opportunities to earn certificates or credentials, that is putting them above other students who don't have it if they won't go into the workforce. So that's the way I look at it, is that they're going to be they're going to have a better resume, if you will, so that when they're presenting for jobs or anything like that, they're going to be like, oh, geez, this guy and this guy are equal, but look at all the training this person has.
Right. All the hands-on learning that puts you just a step above your peers. Right. Exactly.
And that's our thought process, is we want our students to have the upper hand. If they're applying for a job and they're competing against somebody, they show up better just because of the opportunities that we offer them.
And then when we look at a lot of the ways that more life applicable changes are happening when it comes to people and like job hiring, it is initiatives like this that actually, to Dr. Kuzma's point, help drive interest and drive students to the top of the list when you are applying for jobs. So even for a lot of the programs that the Central High School is doing, in addition to the dentistry program, it's really important that we continue to put our Newark students first and forward, and continue to put them in programs that help really get them in front of the jobs that they need.
I'd like to say too, Dr. Coleman, because you mentioned transformational, and we've been looking at the career path piece, and having worked for 990 and workforce development for quite a few years as a specialist, and also as a life coach, it's not just and you talked about hands-on, it's not just the career path that we're talking about, but getting in and accomplishing something that you put your hands into and seeing the finished product, and that you did this, and it's life transformational, even if they don't end up going into that field set or using those credentials in some way in terms of a career path. It changes the way that they see themselves in the world and how they can present, however they decide to present later on. So like the Urban Rowing Project, which is hands-on, like folks who never thought about that are now maybe thinking about Ivy League schools, because where you have kind of rowing stuff is, it's not necessarily going to be at an urban college or traditionally Black college. What else? But all these kinds. At Barringer, didn't they have the airplane building? I don't know if they still have that, but long ago they not only learned about aeronautics, but they actually built a small airplane. So again, hands-on, those transformational things make a difference, even if it doesn't lead transformationally to a career path and a job placement.
I think that's a great point too. Even I have some kids where I taught them a little bit of wiring, and at home they change a light switch, or they change something because they had no idea how to do that stuff. And even something small like that, where they're feeling more encouraged to do something themselves at home and save a little bit of money to change, handle some tools. I put a drill in some people's hands, a screwdriver drill. They've never even touched it before. They don't know how to push the buttons. They don't know how to make it go forward and revert. I mean, just little things like that build them up to maybe being more self-sufficient in their future and being able to, in their mind, understand that they can handle more things. And when they go into any job opportunity, especially if they're going to be a hands-on, they can move those skills forward.
I agree. And again, I do want to say thank you guys so much for having me. I realize we are at time. It is 11 and I have to jump, but I do invite you, Dr. Coleman, Dr. Kuzma, everybody who has joined to please come out on the 29th. I'm going to leave my information in the chat. And you guys asked really great questions. And I would love to really get more clarifying answers for you. Please message me or text me or email me, and I'm happy to really close the loop on everything.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you, Audris,
Thank
and look
you.
forward to your continued success in this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Rhonda. I love you.
Back.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.